In this video, we're going to be talking about the basics of what probability is and how to calculate probability. So, first of all, probability is just a number or a value that represents the likelihood of an event. So, it means basically a way of representing how likely it is that something is going to happen. We can write it as a fraction, a decimal, or a percent. If the probability is 0, it means that there's literally no way the event could happen. If the probability is 1 or 100%, it means that the event is definitely going to happen. Okay? So the way that basically the bigger number you get with your probability, the more likely it is to happen. Okay? The way you calculate probability is you create a fraction where it's the total number of favorable outcomes, or the total number of things that you kind of care about happening, over the total number of possible outcomes. Okay, and we're going to take a look at a lot of examples of probability in just a minute. One thing I wanted to talk about is just to remind you guys what the intersection and union symbol mean. So remember that this A intersect B means A and B, which means you're only looking at the overlap between A and B. When you get to this A union B, that means A or B or both of them. So when we start looking at probabilities of A union B, we have to be careful that we don't count some categories or individuals twice. So down here I have a picture kind of what that's looking like. So say I want to know the probability of A union B. That's kind of what this P of A union B, that's what that's asking. What's the probability of choosing an outcome that lies in A union B? So I've basically shaded in what that means. It's basically all the A and B circles in this Venn diagram. So the way I could calculate that is I would find the probability of event A happening, find the probability of event B happening, but then I have to subtract A intersection with B. So if you look down at the pictures, you'll see that when I found the probability of A, I counted the overlap in between B, A and B, and when I counted B, I also counted the overlap. So basically what I have to do at the very end is just subtract the overlap one time, so I'm not counting it twice. All right, let's look at some examples of this. So let's say that in the math club there are 34 students. 11 of the students are seniors, including 7 of the 20 girls. A student is chosen at random from the club, and we're going to fill in the table and find the following probabilities. And this time we're going to express our answers as fractions. Okay. So first we want to fill in our table down here. So we know that there's 34 kids in the math club, which means that my total, like my grand total over here on the far right, is going to be 34 kids. We know that 11 of the students are seniors, which means that if I look at the senior column, the total in that column is going to be 11. And we know that 7 of the 20 girls, so including 7 of the 20 girls, okay, which means that first of all, we have 20 girls, and we know that 7 of them were seniors. So now we're just going to try to fill in all the rest of the information that we can. So for example, if we know that there are a total of 11 seniors, 7 of them are girls, it means that 4 of them have to be boys. If we know that there are 34 students total in the club and 20 are girls, 14 have to be boys. And since 4 of the boys are seniors, 10 have to be non-seniors. Since 20 of the girls are seniors, 7 of the 20 girls are seniors, 13 have to be non-seniors, which means that I have 23 non-seniors in the club. Okay, so you just got to fill in the information you know, and then just think about adding and subtracting to fill in the rest of these things. All right, so let's calculate some probabilities. So my first thing is, what is the probability of choosing a boy? So basically I'm going to get all my math club together in the same room, and I am going to randomly choose someone. Okay. The probability of choosing a boy means that I'm going to want to look at how many boys there are. So there are 14 boys out of the total number of kids that are in there, so 34. Okay, so there's a 14 out of 34 probability that when I choose a random student, it's going to be a boy. And I am going to want to simplify these fractions. Always give me simplified fractions. So I'm going to have 7 over 17. Okay, and that's the probability of choosing a boy. Now let's look at the probability of choosing a senior. So I'm choosing from all the kids, so I'm still choosing from all 34 kids. And in this case, there are 11 seniors. So the probability is 11 over 34. and that fraction can't be simplified because 11 is prime. Okay, so now I need to look at C. So we're getting into a little more complicated parts here. With C, I want to know the probability of being a boy and being a senior. Okay, so remember that intersection sign means that you're just looking at the people that fall into both categories. The boys who are also seniors. So on our table, that's just going to be the 4 people that are in both the boy row and the senior column. So there's only 4 out of a 34 chance that I choose a random kid who happens to be a boy and a senior. And again, I'm going to simplify this fraction to get 2 over 17. Oops, it's kind of messy, 17. Okay. All right, I'm going to switch colors in my highlighter to do the next one for us. So the next one we're doing girl union senior, which means here I want to know if I choose a random person, what's the likelihood that it's a girl, or she's a non-senior, or she's a non-senior who's also a girl. Okay, so I'm going to come back to my table and I'm just going to highlight everyone that would be part of this category. So first of all of the girls. If I choose any of the girls, then that's part of my category. Also, all of the non-seniors. Okay, so basically everyone except for those senior boys is included in this category. So as I start calculating the probability here, I'm going to want to add up those 3 boxes. So I had 7 plus 13 plus 10 all over the 34. It's total kids in the club. And that adds up to 30 over 34, which I can simplify to 15 over 17. Okay. So when you're doing these probabilities like we just barely did, you're going to be very careful that you make sure you count everyone, but you only count everyone once. So for example, in this problem, we had a little bit of a danger of double counting the girls that were non-seniors because they fell into both the first category of being a girl and the second category of being a non-senior. You just want to be careful that you don't double count them. Okay. Let's take a look at another example. So in this example, we're going to be looking at the number of students in a high school. So let's say there's a total of 1,400 kids in the high school. Of those students, 550 take French, 700 take algebra, and 400 take both French and algebra. So first, let's fill in our Venn diagram, and then we'll answer some questions about it. So I always like to start with the overlap. So 400 are taking both French and algebra. So 400 kids go in this overlap right here. Then we know that 550 are taking French. If 400 of those 550 are also taking algebra, that means that just 150 are going to go in this French circle. And same thing with algebra. If I've got 700 taking algebra and 400 are also taking French, I'm just left with 300 that are in algebra but not French. So then I've got to figure out, there's going to be some kids at the school that are enrolled in neither French nor algebra, and they're going to go in this blank on the outside. So to figure that out, I'm just going to add up how many kids I've already counted inside my Venn diagram. That's going to be 850. And then I'm basically going to say I have 1,400 kids at my school. If I take away the 850 that I already counted, I've got 550 that are enrolled in neither course. All right, so let's go ahead and answer some probability questions. So what's the probability that if you choose a random student, the student does not take French? Okay, so here we're just looking at people that are not in the French circles. So if you look at it, there's 300 kids that are in algebra but not French, and then there's 550 kids that are in neither. That's 850. Okay, so that means there's 850 kids that don't speak French out of the 1,400 kids that are at the school. And if you look at the instructions, we want to give our probabilities as percentages. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like in the calculator. I'm just going to type this fraction into my calculator. And when I did, I got 0.607 and then a bunch of other stuff. So we just got to remember that when we convert to decimals, when we convert from decimals to percents, we basically just move our decimal place over 2. So it's going to be 60.7%. So 60.7% of our students do not take French. All right, next one, the probability of being in algebra intersection with French. That means being in algebra and French class. That means we're looking at that overlap, the 400 kids that are in both. So if I have 400 kids that are taking both out of the total 1,400 at my school, I'm going to type that into my calculator to get a percent. We'll take it a decimal, and then I'll just convert it to a percent. So it's going to be 28.6%. So this problem says to round to the nearest tenth of a percent. So I rounded that 5 to a 6 because the following number was a 7. All right, what's the probability of being in algebra but not French? So we're just looking at the kids that are in algebra that are not in French. So that's going to be 300, the 300 kids that are just in algebra over the 1,400 that are total at the school. And again, you can just use your calculator. This one just requires a very, very basic calculator. You could even use your phone calculator if you weren't on a test. That's going to turn into 21.4%. Okay. So the next one's a little trickier. Well, not necessarily, but it can be. So the probability of being in algebra union French. So here I want all the kids that are in algebra, all the kids that are in French, and all the kids that are in both of them. Okay, so we're basically looking at everyone who's enrolled in at least one of these courses. So we've got a total of 150 plus 400 plus the 300. So there are 850 kids at my school that are enrolled in algebra or French or both. So the probability of choosing one of those kids, if I were to choose from everyone in the school, would be 850 divided by 1,400, which is 0.607, which is 60.7%. Okay. So those are just some examples of basic probability. What I'm going to do in the next video is we need to look at some examples of what's called conditional probability, which basically means what's the probability of choosing in algebra, a kid that's in algebra, given that he's definitely enrolled in French. Okay, so go ahead if you want to take a break and just practice some of these basic probabilities, and then we'll jump into conditional probabilities in the next video.